Welcome back to another episode. We have Roggle and myself. Good news, Roggle has made 2 episodes all by himself. Yay! Round of applause for Roggle. He actually did something creative to help with me.
Shut up.
But in all seriousness, they are good episodes. It's the one episode before this and the one that's coming out after this. You get to hear Roggle talk about his what he classifies as his favorite heroes and heroines, as well as villains of horror movies. And then the episode that'll come after this one is all about his Google search of top 25 ranked horror movies, which he absolutely loves. Internet generated list so much.
No,
so much.
not at all. Not at all. And I found the other one I just sent you, the 50 most or whatever, and it was dog shit. Horrible.
I saw there was a Winnie the Pooh one on that list where I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Why is
not even the
Winnie the Pooh and not the horror one? No, legitimately Winnie the Pooh, 1,000 Acre Woods, 100 Acre Woods. I was like, oh. Mm-hmm. Last I checked, Winnie the Pooh is not horror, and if it is, newsflash to Roggle, I've seen a ton of horror movies now.
Yeah, no, it was horrible. There's a couple I was like, I don't know. No,
I mean, there's a bunch of them. I sent you that list or that TikTok video where the guy he reacted to a list that was published about the top 10 horror movies this year. Not like movies that came out this year, just this was the top 10 of all time for this year. It's based on like the amount of stress it caused a viewer, as well as like its ratings and all this stuff. And you were not happy with that in the slightest.
No.
I couldn't find the article, but they are using, there's a group of scientists that are using this kind of equipment similar to like a lie detector. I don't know if you've ever had to take one, but like they put straps around your chest, you put things on your hands. Theirs also includes a helmet or a brace of some sort up top, so where it measures their brainwave too. And it can somewhat to a degree tell, the amount of stress, anxiety that you're having because of your heart rate and your blood pressure and all this fancy stuff. I don't know if they're using the same one, but they definitely use one for like how stressful college is and the amount of people that are so stressed out senior year from transitioning from school to full-time adulthood. I can't find the exact article, but
so I found one. It's on The Rock. It's like the Rock.net.
The prisoners.
No, but this all the top 10 list. They have it on here, and they're going. It's exact same list that matches what they talked about, and it has the heartbeats. All they have is just a heartbeat and the spike heart rate. That's all they talk about on here, but it doesn't cite any doctor or I don't know where this scientific data came from.
Yeah, it should.
And it's only out of 250 people. I don't know.
Well, speaking of this, because I actually did a duet on a TikTok because I got kind of annoyed or heated, whatever you want to call it, about wrestling, where there's a big push inside WWE specifically right now to ban journalists. Like they're working really hard to ban wrestling journalists from the shows because it's causing a lot of misinformation, chaos, and it's not good publicity for anyone in any realm, whether competitor or themselves. But the main one that gets brought up quite often is David Meltzer and Brian Alvarez, which Brian Alvarez isn't bad. He's annoying at times, but Dave Meltzer is the one that came up with like the 5-star rating back in the early 90s, late 80s that everyone is so headstrong on of, oh my god, it's not a 5-star rating, it didn't get 5. Like, you can go watch a TikTok video and get my gist of it. But the whole point is like, I fucking hate that 5-star rating. And that led me down a rabbit hole of, all these major top tier pro wrestlers within WWE, AEW, New Japan, Impact / TNA Wrestling as of January 13th next year, and AAA and all that. And there are big names that have never gotten a 5-star match in their entire career, from the likes of The Rock to Randy Orton, Kurt Angle. Like, John Cena has one in his entire career. I think Undertaker was on the list too, of never receiving a 5-star. But
he has one of the most iconic matches of all time between him and Mankind, in my opinion. That Hell in a Cell where he throws him off the Hell in a Cell, through the Hell in a Cell, like that to me is like the most iconic match in wrestling.
Yep. No, I would agree. Like, when you think of, I mean, at least for us anyways, when you think of wrestling, professional wrestling, I think of Mankind and Undertaker, but you also have The Rock and Steve Austin. You also have Eddie Guerrero's plethoras of matches, of course DX, and then you have these high flyers like Rey Mysterio. He's nowhere on the list. So it's baffling that so many people do not have any 5-star matches, and yet so many people will base the entire conversation of like, who's the greatest of all time, or who's the best wrestler, or who has the best matches. And in reality, it's just this one dude, and I'll give it to him. He I don't know how he fucking pulled it off, but he pulled it off. And it's equivalent to like Michelin stars, where I don't know if you know the history of how Michelin stars came to be, but Michelin, the tire company, decades ago, that's their system. The Michelin star is the Michelin tires. It was to drive tourism and to certain restaurants as people were starting to get automobiles and everything, and it was supposed to like drive attraction. That's it. And now it's turned into this mega agglomerate thing of, oh my god, if you don't have a 5-star restaurant or a 2-star restaurant, then you're nobody. Then you have people like Gordon Ramsay who has fucking tons of stars. But basically saying what I'm saying is, it doesn't mean shit, but it means everything to a certain crew of people. But like, let me see.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people who will live and die by ratings, and if they don't get the best rating, then they want to disagree, want to bitch and complain about it. And this is all from Dave Meltzer. You're saying he has 5 stars. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the guy is obviously a very old school. I'm assuming old school style wrestler wants it to be the old school style.
No.
And
unlike oh god, what's her name? They're so heavily associated with wrestling. I can't think of their names anymore. God damn, there's two. One that used to be inside WCW as a writer and then went up to WWE. Can't think of his name. Not Eric Bischoff. God damn it. Anyways, there's
Vince
two.
Russo?
Vince Russo. There we go. And then there's another guy that I can't think of. Skinny, white, annoying, old fucking white dude who's just a blabbermouth, has his own wrestling circuit. Can't think of his name. He's also used to write for WWE. No, not Arnett.
Jim Cornette?
Yes, Jim Cornette. There we go. Those two are so fucking stuck in the past that they have refused to acknowledge any of the evolution that has happened with pro wrestling, whether WWE, AEW, New Japan, the Triple A, Impact slash NWA, control your own narrative, anything. They're so stuck in the past. Whereas Dave Meltzer, he's kind of evolved along the way, which is good. I think Brian Alvarez helps him out a lot too with like staying true to wrestling, but at the same time, he is so quick to appear like he's in somebody's pocket. Where when AEW started a couple years ago, like got televised, went rampant, he had the hardest or the biggest hard on for AEW, saying finally we're getting back to all these type of matches, the intricacy of it, good storytelling, and now he's very much he doesn't care. He thinks AEW is suffering, which they are. There is some validity behind what he's saying, but it comes across when you read his articles or you listen to his podcast, it comes across like he's paid very strongly and very well by WWE.
Oh, yeah.
So it comes across not as opinionated, but as super biased. And there's like they all fluctuate between companies, and that's cool. But him specifically gets called out because of this 5-star match rating, where like looking at the list of wrestlers with the most 5-star matches of WWE, because that's household name, household staple for 40 plus years. You would have John Moxley / Dean Ambrose. He only got his stars after he left WWE. Adam Page, same, got him after he left. Same with FTR / Cash Wheeler and Dax Hardwood outside WWE. Gunther actually got some 5-star matches. Bryan Danielson, aka Daniel Bryan, he's got a couple from both. Ric Flair, before his time with WWE, like well before, like he was super young. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that would be all the like name brands to WWE. Then you have like Will Ospreay, who had the most of any wrestler today. He has 13. But the problem with my problem with 5-star is, if I told you to rank something on a scale 1 to 5, what would you say is the highest you could go?
I mean, obviously 5 would be the highest you could go, but that would have to be like the immaculate end all be all of all matches, in my opinion.
But okay. So hear me out. Not with this 5-star rating from Meltzer. Okay. The highest score he has ever given a match is Kenny Omega versus Okada, and he gave that a 7-star match. Not just 5-star, 7. Will Ospreay has the most 5-star matches. He has 13. Kenny and Okada have 12. But anyways, Will Ospreay's highest rated match is 6.25. The top 7 all have over 5-star ratings. On a scale of 1 to 5, they all have over 5-star.
Okay, I guess you're kind of defeating the purpose if you have a 5-star. If you're going above it.
So he has been questioned numerous times about how he decides his whole scale. And he says, if I ever get, I often get a lot of questions about why I won't give certain matches, like Undertaker versus Mick Foley, why I didn't give that 5-star. And he said something along the lines of like it was just unnecessary, like he didn't need to be thrown off. There were certain things, but he gave it, I think, a 4.5 or 4.75. He said there was just something missing, and he couldn't give it a 5-star. I know, and yet here we are, years later, and there's people getting 5.25, 5.5, 6, 5.75, 7. Like, the fuck? How are you the guy that this is all supposed to be like an end all be all scale? to determine who's the greatest of all time. And these ratings don't mean shit to anyone. And yet, people like Will Ospreay can use these and say, look, I have 13 all-time greatest matches. I think his lowest rating of his like 5-star matches, his lowest is like a 5.25. So
he has nothing under a 5.
he has several under 5, but like of his like 5-star matches, the lowest 5-star match is a 5.25. He does not have a solid 5 match. He has 5.25, 0.5, 0.75, 6, 6.25. He has a bunch of underneath that, but he's even said, he's like, I don't like the 5-star rating. I think it's stupid. But at the same time, if a company wants to like say, hey, I want you to sign with us, that's when I can start being like, well, I have the most 5-star matches, which means I'm amazing talent, which is true. On paper, you look like amazing talent. But at the same time, like that has a lot to do with like your opponent too. Because if your opponent is shit or Nia Jax, then you're likely not to have a great match.
Yeah, but also that 5-star rating is only based on one person's opinion.
Exactly.
That's not a collective vote. It's just one person.
Nope. Roman Reigns doesn't have any 5-star matches. None. Brock Lesnar has none.
You said Cena has 1. Randy Orton has 0.
Correct.
What about Shawn Michaels?
Let me double check that. I believe he's on the list. Triple H doesn't have one.
Stone Cold?
Nope. Okay. I'll double check all this, but no.
And Taker doesn't have any either.
I believe that's correct. Let me double check this.
Which I could play. I could be the asshole and say that all Taker's matches. No, I won't say all. A lot of them are not like over the top exciting. They're just entertaining.
Let's see. So yeah, the only match that Meltzer has said he was close giving a 5-star rating to Undertaker or Michaels. This is just an article, so I haven't confirmed whether or not they both have one. But the only match Meltzer has reported saying that he was giving close to giving a 5-star rating for Shawn Michaels and Undertaker was when they face each other at WrestleMania 25. However, he did not give it a 5-star rating. And in the history of WrestleMania, there's only been 4 matches that have achieved 5-star, with 2 of those coming from 2023. The Undertaker, but many fans feel some classics have been overlooked, like The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels.
2 of those came from this year's Mania?
Correct.
What were they? Does it say?
Hold on. I'm trying to work on Shawn Michaels still.
Oh. Sorry, I thought you already passed that.
No, I'm working. It's taking time. It's like I got to Google shit and do all this stuff. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels got 4.75.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker again got 4.75. All right, Shawn Michaels has 2. He has 1 when he was against Razor Ramon at WrestleMania.
There's a ladder match?
Yep. And okay, so Undertaker does have at least 1 because Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker at Bad Blood in Your House in '97 was a 5-star match.
Let's see. I'm going to go through these. The WrestleMania card from this year, and I'm going to try and guess which one he gave 5-star. So we're going to rock it all. I'm going to go with that triple. That 4-way is not going to get it. Oh, you know what? Gunther, McIntyre, and Sheamus. I bet that's one of them.
All right, so here we go.
I'd almost bet.
3, 4. Okay, so The U.S. Championship. Oh, fuck you. The U.S. Championship, which is Theory versus John Cena, got 3.5 stars. The Showcase, which was the Street Profits versus Viking Raiders versus Alpha Academy for Braun Strowman and Ricochet, the tag title match, or the tag showcase match, whatever that was, got 3.
Mm-hmm.
Seth versus Logan got 4.5. Becky and Trish and Lita versus Damage Control 3. Ray versus Dom 3.5. The women's championship match, Rhea versus Charlotte, got 5-star.
What?
Mm-hmm. The undisputed tag championship match, KO and Zayn versus the Usos, 5-star. And then Lesnar versus Omos, 2.5. The women's showcase, 1.5. The IC match of Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre got 5 stars.
Okay, I figured that one was going to get 5-star.
Asuka versus Bianca Belair got 4. Edge versus Finn got 3. Reigns versus Cody got 4.75. The IC match was listed as the highlight of WrestleMania, according to Dave Meltzer.
So it seems like I'm finding a trend that Meltzer has a thing for Gunther. If this dude has multiple 5 stars, and he's only been a main guy for 2 year and a half, 2 years. Is that right?
I mean, he just surpassed Honky Tonk. So almost 2 years.
Okay. And he's already got that. He's got multiple 5 stars. Might be a little bit of swayed in one direction, I would say.
Yeah.
But again, this is one person writing these articles, doing this. So
I have every 5-star WWE match. And this is according to Dave Meltzer's. And I can't stress that enough. This is not Rogel and I, because I would rank so many fucking matches completely opposite. And that's just because, he's fucking old and stupid. So you want all 16?
Sure. That's how many, only 5-star?
Yeah.
Wrestlers? That's individuals, they're not matches.
Yeah, these are matches.
Oh, okay.
But see if you can catch a trend. So coming in at 16 is Gunther versus Sheamus at Clash of the Castle, earlier, or 2012 or 2022.
Okay.
That was given 5-star. All these are 5 stars. Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes at Hell in a Cell, June 2022.
That was the torn pec match, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the highlight of this, saying his Cody competing with a torn pec was surprisingly added shock and awe to this match, setting it over the expectations that were to come. And then you have Walter versus Dragunov at NXT TakeOver 36, August 2021. This match actually received 5.25, making it the 4th match ever to receive more than 5 stars in WWE history. Walter versus Dragunov again in October 2020. Tyler Bates versus Walter again. NXT Cardiff, August 2019. This was also a 5.25 match, making it the 3rd at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hate lists just as much as you, but not about horror stuff. Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano, NXT TakeOver 25, June 2019. This is the 2nd match ever to receive 5.25 stars. Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano again, NXT TakeOver New York, April 2019. This was the 1st match ever to receive 5.5 stars in WWE history. Mustache Mountain, which is Tyler Bate and Trent Seven versus the Undisputed Era, Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. WWE NXT, just a house show, it looks like, 2018, July 2018. Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, NXT TakeOver New Orleans, April 2018. I have to do this backwards. Adam Cole versus EC3 versus Killian Dane versus Lars Sullivan versus Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream. NXT TakeOver New Orleans, April 7, 2018. Johnny Gargano again, Andre Almas. I don't know who that is. NXT TakeOver Philadelphia, January 2018. CM Punk versus John Cena, Money in the Bank, July 2011. This was the main event at Money in the Bank for the WWE Championship. Vince McMahon threatened Cena that he would be fired if he loses to Punk. Punk ended up winning the fantastic match. Still not over 5 stars, but it was 5 stars. Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. In Your House, Bad Blood. In Your House 18, Bad Blood. October 97. And then top 3 matches. Top 3 5-star matches. Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. WrestleMania 13, March 97. Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, SummerSlam 94. August 1994. Okay. And then finally, the top match. It's not even over 5 stars. But anyway, Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 10, March 1994. There's a lot of names you did not hear on that.
There's a lot of names you got repeated on there a lot too.
Oh, yeah. Majority of these came from NXT, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. What? Who was in charge of NXT at the time?
And there's a big gap in there too from what was that 2011 match? That was CM Punk and Cena.
Yep.
What was the next match after that? Like before that one that you had read? What was the year gap?
7.
Did you go 18?
Went from 2018
to 11.
2018. Yep.
So you're telling me in 7 years there was no matches that he would rate in there.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
I have a hard time believing that.
But yeah, this is like, I don't give a shit about a lot of like lists or anything, but seeing as I read a lot of articles, especially around WWE and AEW and wrestlers in general, Dave Meltzer's always been one of those in like the last 10 years that have just pissed me off, because it's historically it's inconsistent. He has yet to actually reveal like what he requires for a 5-star, and yet he's out here getting 7-star matches. And I'll give it, Omega versus Okada, like that was a hell of a fucking match. I would still say I personally preferred Undertaker versus Mick Foley, but modern time, that was a fucking amazing match.
Now would the Hulk Hogan Andre the Giant match, what did that get? Is that even on there or considered? Or is that way too old?
No, he went back to like 60s and 70s, I believe.
Because on that list also, there were 2 matches that I think you bar the injury or injury sustained during the match. They might not have made it. The Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. Had he not tore his pec,
Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 3 was given a 4-star rating.
Okay.
Which, look, to be fair, I don't give a fuck about Hogan. Like, I saw another video where it's like, you have to get rid of one of these from history forever. Hogan, Steve Austin, or Roman Reigns. I was like, Hogan. Steve Austin has done more for the wrestling company and the community as a whole. While I don't particularly like Roman Reigns a whole lot, and I don't like how he's super protective and all that stuff. Watch other episodes to find out more. Hogan never caught my attention. And I've watched a lot of his old matches to just like see if maybe I'm just missing something. Maybe it comes with age. He's just boring to watch. And yes, you can go down the route. Well, if he didn't go or he wasn't there, then NWO, WCW. But I don't give a fuck. Guess what? All those still would have happened just without Hogan. Hogan didn't start those. He just made it famous.
But without Hogan, it wouldn't have happened because they wanted the heel turn from him to have the bigger pop for NWO. That was Bischoff's whole thing. And it wasn't until 45 minutes before it all went down when he walked in back to the beach for it to happen. I don't know. You have to give credit to Hogan for what he did for the industry. I think without it, and also Ric Flair at the same time.
He's also the greediest fucker, though.
I don't doubt it.
I just watched an interview with him. Literally, I think it was with Chris Vant, maybe somebody else, where he's talking about, oh yeah, I walked away from WWF because they refused to pay me what I wanted, so I went to New Japan. I went to these indie circuits, and I went to WCW because they all offered me the money I wanted. Like, I get it. I would do the same thing. You're telling me I can make more money going elsewhere? Okay, cool, whatever. But you can't sit here with your 10 moves, your stupid fucking finisher, and say you are even on the contested list of greatest of all time.
He was the face of it, though, for the longest time.
I don't give a fuck.
That's it. It wasn't about. I mean, back then there wasn't a whole lot of moves that were used. I mean, yes, his finisher was absolute dog shit.
Oh, no. Go listen to the interviews where he talks about all his moves he was allowed to do over in New Japan that he got barred here in WWE because he was too big of a guy and they didn't think he could do it. So if he was that big of a star, that mega star, he could have pulled his weight around. But he just went, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know, with what he did, I mean, you can't deny what he did. The face of the company for a long time. I mean, he had some of the best movies ever made back then too. So,
your opinion on this is invalid now.
His movies were very, very, very mediocre at best.
The Marine was mediocre.
It was all right.
And the fact there's 10 of them now? Yeah.
Well, only good now because the Miz took it over. So you give it to the Miz and it works. But what caused or brought on the whole wanting them banned? The reporters, the writer, those guys banned, like Meltzer and all them.
5 stars.
That was it? Just because they...
Well, not just because of that, but that was the big one that got leaked, so to speak.
Who's complaining?
Internal people of WWE and AEW. That's literally all the reports keep saying is internal employees and internal members of wrestling companies are pushing to get wrestler journalists to be banned. And some of the highlight points they mentioned was like the inconsistency with 5 stars, the fact that there seems to be pocket liners, as they call them in the report. I mean, those who say, well, fuck AEW or fuck WWE. And there doesn't seem to be any true consistency behind it, where it's 1 month WWE is the best fucking thing on God's green earth, and then the next month is what's WWE? I've never heard of it. Like it's inconsistent. There's no proper structure to it, which is fair because there's a bunch of, for the lack of better words, there's a bunch of indie people writing their feelings and their opinions on it. Where it could be I think Steve Joe this on Monday, and then it's Tyler on Tuesday, Cindy on Wednesday. Like it's all over the place. Where like again, Steve can say, the Seth Rollins match was fucking amazing, 5 star, and then on Tuesday Tyler's like, no, it's a 2 star, it sucked ass, because they're just giving their opinions. They're not giving anything like to justify it. It's just, this is my opinion because I say it is, not, well, I think it should be 5 stars, or I think it should be X amount of stars because there was botched moves, or it looked like bad calls were made, bad placements were made. Like justification to explain why they're rating it the way it is. And I get it. Like I get that to to the T. Where if you're going to go on here or any social media platform and you're going to say, well, this show, Undertaker versus Mick Foley, only deserves 4 stars, don't quote me on that. Let me just Undertaker.
Well, to me, it sounds like there's a bunch of hurt feelings and people that don't like other people's opinions because they don't believe what they're saying. And
4.5.
It's
Undertaker versus Mankind.
Okay.
Hell in a Cell match got 4.5. Yeah.
That's fine, whatever. I mean, but it sounds like a bunch of hurt feelings. They're in there and they don't like what's being said. Fucking deal with it. That's how reporting goes. Reporting is never consistent, especially when it comes to fictional entertainment.
You mean mass media is not reliable?
Write better storylines and maybe they won't fucking bash your shit. Finish a storyline, maybe they won't bash your shit.
Retired.
It can go both ways. I mean, you want to bitch and complain because you're not getting the 5-star matches you want. Well, maybe you should do better writing and book better matches. Maybe have your match card ready to go before 48 hours before the pay-per-view even starts.
They have to now because the whole betting thing. That has to be. The results are already in. That's the big issue with like why are we allowed to bet and gamble on?
Did that go through?
You've been able to do that.
I haven't seen
4 or 5 months. DraftKings is on it.
Oh, maybe it is DraftKings because it's not on my bookie. My bookie hasn't had it for a while.
I believe it's just DraftKings.
They took it off.
One others, but yeah.
But I might have exclusive then.
Yeah, but that's the bigger thing is, in my opinion, I think that's ruining it when you're releasing this information 48 hours and they are given up to, I want to say 24 hours, 20 to 24 hours before they go live that they're allowed to change the results, but they have to it has to be justified. Like, oh, Drew McIntyre is injured, so we can't have him win because he has to step away. Okay, it has to be emergency type situation, not we're gonna have Drew win and then 24 hours like no, we decided to go with Seth Rollins.
I mean, people are never gonna be happy with that because as soon as a ton of people start losing, like, well, they just changed it, they're wanting to get all this money because blah blah blah. Like, you're never gonna fucking win in that. In my opinion, it's probably dumb to do to bet on wrestling when it is a written scripted show. I mean, I've done it before back when they had it. We did something to pick like Royal Rumble and stuff like that. It is fun to just try and do it, but if you're gonna get butthurt over not getting your picks, not getting the win, or not winning the bet, I mean, that's exactly what fucking gambling is. I mean, you're not gonna win. You're more like you're not supposed to win majority of the time. That's why they have odds.
Always wins.
Exactly, and that's one thing that people don't understand, and that's the shit nowadays that really pisses people off. Because they want it, they have to get it, and they don't get it, they want to bitch and moan, like the internal fuckers at WWE and AEW. They're not getting their way. They're not liking what's being said, so they want to ban people.
New Japan was also on the list.
Well, fucking
but
do better.
Theirs was more for they have a whole respect and different aura around wrestling.
Yeah,
it's very well respected. It's treated as like, I don't want to, this is gonna sound very bougie and like American wrestling is not the same, but there's a whole different breed over in Japan that for New Japan Wrestling, like they respect the arts and crafts. They are often very, very quiet during the show. When the performers are out there performing, yeah, sure, they may pop every now and then, but for the most part, they're very quiet. They let you do your work. They're there to spectate this awesome show that you're putting on. Whereas here in the US and even Europe, we're really rowdy. We chant, we boo, we say all that, and that's the hype behind it. That's the involvement. We love that. We want to do that. Over there, that's not the thing. And there's often mention in reports from other journalists, not Alvarez or Meltzer, but there's often reports of the show must have not done very well because it was really quiet, or I was unable to focus on the match because I was lost and thought I wasn't able to like take the crowd in. The crowd seemed to be bored, or the crowd, like, it was always negative input, when in reality it's just they didn't or they don't understand. That's a whole different perspective over there. that you're quiet, like a tennis match to a degree. You're quiet, but then there's moments to pop off. There's moments to get loud and rowdy. But when the bell rings, traditionally they're quiet, and that's kind of where I get it. I understand. It's like, yeah, absolutely, 100% sure. Ban them for that reason. Cool, but you're losing some traction at that point.
I mean, yeah, you cannot ban writers, reporters. It's not going to work. Now, the old saying is, good or bad publicity.
Any publicity is good publicity.
That's exactly. So I mean, I got jumbled up what I was trying to say, but I mean that's exactly what it is. Hands down. You want to bitch and moan about it? Like I said, do better. Stop being a bitch and just go do your shit. Figure it out. Finish a storyline. For the love of God, finish a storyline.
Huh. I don't think we'll have a problem with that now that Vince is not allowed to touch anything WWE. So
we'll see.
No, he's the Endeavor CEO has even came out publicly and said, yeah, Vince is not involved with WWE creative anymore. He will not have any say. It's all in the reins of Triple H or Hunter.
Oh, I get that, but like, is he going to finish every storyline that's going on right now?
I think so.
Or is he going to squash quite a bit of them really quick with?
He has
an abrupt ending.
He has a positive track record thanks to NXT. So, I mean, there's no reason to assume he would not finish the story, but it's also hard to say. Like, I get it too. Like I said, I understand wanting to remove writers. I get it, but at the same time, like, it's part of your business. You have to have them, whether you like it or not. The only reason why I say I agree to an extent is because, at least when I'm reading reports and I'm reading, oh well, Tyler thought this match was shit. Oh, but Steven really liked it. Cindy said it was mid. Like, the lack of justification is what pisses me off when I'm reading these reports, and it's just, oh, I didn't like the match because it didn't end the way I wanted it. Cool. What about the match though? Like justify the match, because if I was giving a report of any caliber for anything, I would justify my logic to giving it a 3-star or 4-star. I've done it plenty of times on this podcast where I was like, look, we would have liked this match a little bit more, but this was a botch ending, or this was a botch move, or it fucking Charlotte Flair.
And I think you're gonna have that. If you're gonna be a reporter, you're gonna have your favorites, hands down. It's just gonna happen. You're gonna love what you're doing by watching wrestling and enjoying it. If you don't, then you're in the wrong sport. You're following the wrong entertainment at that point. I mean, if you can't find somebody that you
business to report on, I can't report that Cherry outdid Cinderella this weekend.
So you have to be able to sometimes put your biased opinion to the side, and also at the same point, you have to get your biased opinion out there as well, because you have to be a fan. Also, you have to be able to put your own out there, and some people aren't going to like that.
Yeah.
But tough shit. That's what's going to happen.
That's fine. Be a fan first, but at the same time, you have to rest your morals on that. If you're going to write that way, you also can't be pissed off when people are attacking you and saying, well, you're wrong because, and then they give their reasons. And all your statement was, I didn't like this match because Roman Reigns won again. No shit, Roman Reigns gonna win again. Like, we know he's gonna make it to WrestleMania. Like, that's not, you can't just tank the ratings of this because you don't like fucking Roman Reigns. You have to put your opinion aside, or if you're gonna take it, at least say, well, it's because, Roman Reigns missed a spear, or looked like he wasn't giving his all, or he looked lethargic, or justify, like, throw some bullshit to the wall and let it stick. But just saying simply, I didn't like it because Roman Reigns won, that's like saying, well, I don't like this car just because it's blue. Okay, but it gets 60 miles to the gallon and it's only $3,000, and it'll last you 10 to 15 years. Yeah, but it's blue.
Yeah,
Like, there's all this other good things, but it's blue. Like your justification is not there. There's no justification at all. It's,
don't get me wrong. You can be a reporter and absolutely not like somebody and not give them a positive review.
absolutely.
I mean, there's sportscasters that do not like a certain team from Texas, and they will not give them a good review.
Only one.
So I mean,
Look, I may not know their names, but I can think of at least 5 I've seen on TikTok today alone that just destroyed the Cowboys or destroyed the Longhorns.
and that's one thing is that they do that. They will not give them props, but they make it known and they point out things.
Yeah.
And there's times where they don't bash them as much, but they're still bashing them.
Yeah.
Now, would you give Charlotte Flair an honest review in a decent match that she had?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it would not be. She's an amazing wrestler. It wouldn't build her up in that manner. It would still probably be.
If it was any of her current matches, I would give it a fair review. But yes, it would be done in a tinted light because I have it this like she's again justifying. She doesn't seem to be as well. She doesn't seem to move as well. She doesn't seem to actually give a damn about her movements or playing well with the others, and that's fine. But if you look at her NXT days or when she first broke onto the roster, she was a hell of a fucking competitor. But then she rested and got really lazy and lackluster because I'm a Flair. My daddy's Ric Flair. Like, who the fuck cares? Like, that's my big. It's like, you can tell there's a definitive time when she was either injured or she took time off and then she came back and she got pushed instantly. No reason. She just got pushed. She was the face of the company, whether we liked it or not. Even though there was Becky Lynch, there was Sasha, there was a bunch of other people at the time. And it was just, nope, you're going to get Charlotte Flair. Here you go. Oh, we're going to strip the title off her because we need to give her her 13th run, her 14th run, her 15th run. Like, she's not doing much for the industry as a whole right now. I can give an honest review, but yes, it would be underneath a very scrutinous lens of, well, she did X, Y, Z wrong. She didn't pull this move off correctly. It looked like she missed, or it looked like even if it's her opponent's fault, I could make it seem like it was because she had bad timing. But I can also put my personal feelings aside and be professional about it, like I do for this podcast.
You are a good reporter. You just lie straight to your teeth. So yeah, that works. So I don't know. I think because it comes down to just stop being a whiny bitch and take what's being said. If you don't like it, don't read it. Or again, do better. It's that simple.
There's a block feature everywhere now.
Yeah, it's very true.
Like fucking everywhere. You don't want a certain website to come up on your Google recommendations when you go to Google. You can block it.
Or even talk to them. Say, hey, what's your problem? What do you not like? If you want to know straight up why, talk to the person.
I think if they were to talk to some of the people,
Meltzer,
they've talked to Meltzer, and he's done his justification. Same with Alvarez. Whereas like people like Jim Cornette, who just want to shit on it, who just want to shit on it to shit on it. Like it wouldn't matter. Like he's pissed. Yeah, and there's people like Steve and Tyler, again, just generic people, they're not real, who don't know their ass from their elbows, and they could go talk to them, but again, they can't justify why they're giving this match or giving this rating as it is because they're caught up in their feelings. Like it's a catch-22, and you can't get rid of it. But at the same time, like you said, you can almost cover your own ass by inviting them and say, hey, let's talk about this. Please explain. Or send an email. Yeah, it's like, can you please explain why you're bashing so heavily on Charlotte Flair? What is it about Charlotte Flair that your company doesn't seem to like? Oh, okay, well, let me tell you. X, Y, Z, A, B, C. Cool. Versus, I just don't like her.
Yeah. And you're not going to be able to get away with it and say, okay, you're banned. How are you going to ban somebody from writing?
They can ban Dave Meltzer. I'm okay with that. He fucking annoys me.
How are you going to ban a writer?
Sue him.
Reporter. It doesn't stop him from writing, though.
You can't give a cease and desist on opinions.
J.K. Rollins. Without getting political, J.K. Rollins.
I mean, you. When it comes to entertainment like wrestling, you're not gonna be able to stop it. It's not gonna happen.
Entertainment's what got her.
That's a little different.
They were doing the reunions.
No, you can't do it. There's just no way.
Yeah. There's a place, and there's kind of a place for it. Absolutely agree. It's just, again, it's just one of those things that's like, if you want to do the writing, that's fine. There's been numerous times over this last year and a half, we'll say 2 years, while we've been doing this, where I'm like, look, we need to do reviews on games, like actively go and review it. We need to review these matches. We need I've tried to set it all up before. It's very time consuming, especially just for two people to do, let alone one person with ADHD who fucking loses focus quicker than a toddler. Like, I get it. But at the same time, if you're going to write and be passionate about it and be willing to defend your point, because just like the wrestling community, WWE, AEW, and all them want to ban these people also need to start defending themselves properly, because they're doing the same thing that WWE could do, which is block them and say, well, I don't see your nasty comments anymore. I don't see you degrade me anymore. I don't see you saying bad things about me just because I give my opinion. You need to be able to defend and stand your ground, but also be open to evolving from that and be like, okay, take the criticism. You're right. Charlotte Flair is an amazing wrestler. She can do no wrong. You've convinced me. Versus, I don't want to hear it. Block. Done. Ban. Go away. It's that fine line. It's a double-edged sword, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, you can't ban them. You can't.
No.
But again, you talk about a reporter that fucking pisses me off. Dave Meltzer goes like, fucking pisses me off with all of it.
So I don't know. It's one of those things that they need them regardless. I mean, they have to get it out there to have the reports. And I don't even think they have. I mean, everything's internet based now, so everything's going there. They don't have the magazines anymore like they used to. There is a wrestling magazine, Wrestling
Inc.
Is it Wrestling Inc? Is that the one?
I believe it's Wrestling Inc. or Observer.
It's one of those. But yeah, I mean, it's still out there, but they don't have like they had WWF magazine at the time that would come out like monthly.
PWI, Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
That's what it was. Okay.
And Wrestling USA magazine. Those are the current ones.
Okay.
Inside the Rope magazine.
You don't have a lot of those that people will pick up.
No, those are all digital.
Everything is.
That's things are all
digital. It's all digital now. Because there are a couple paperback, like magazine style, that you can pick up at like the grocery store and stuff. You know, like you have like the National Enquirer, where I sit there with my parents as they're checking out, reading about how Bigfoot had a baby and how he was abducted by a UFO and was probed. Shit like that.
The Illuminati.
Yeah. So that's ones that are out there, but everything's digital now, so you have to have something out there because people are going to want to read rumors, opinions, anything to initiate an argument or to support somebody's side on anything. As long as somebody can find something that supports their side, they're with it until it goes against what they want.
Yeah.
Exactly what it is.
I know people. I can't on this podcast, but I can list a slew of people who would go down with the wrong information and die with it because it's what they believe in. Even if it surpasses their morals and their ethics, they will still go down with it because that is what they believe. So for so long, therefore, it must be right. But we're not going to get into that. We'll wrap this all up. we're getting to that film where I I gotta get political for a second in order to finish my thoughts, so we won't. But to wrap this up and to talk about lists, and this list does matter, unlike your horror shit. Here are 12.
Damn mouth.
Here are 12 surprising wrestlers who had never received a 5-star match or 5-star rating in their career, according to Dave Meltzer. Okay. Kurt Angle, Jake Roberts, Mr. Perfect, Edge. That's the one that kind of hit home with me. I was like, hold on. You're telling me the triple threat ladder match was not 5-star? Bullshit. Kevin Owens.
You know when he was a tag team?
Yeah, Christian, Edge, Hardy, Dudley.
All right. Gotcha,
I'll look at that one. Anyways, so Edge, KO, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn / El Generico, Eddie Guerrero, El Desperado, Triple H, Dean Malenko, Macho Man Randy Savage, and Rob Van Dam.
Van Dam and Eddie. I can't think really of any Eddie's matches that would, in my opinion, stand out as a 5-star. But again, I don't know what he's rating them on, but I don't see it as a. And I'm going as 5 stars being, the best matches that I've seen, and I can't think off the top of my head of an Eddie Guerrero, Rob Van Dam, Dean Malenko match that has been up there and amazing. I honestly can't think of a Triple H one either.
I could argue many Triple H's and Shawn Michaels, Triple H versus The Undertaker, Triple H versus The Rock, Triple H versus John Cena versus CM Punk. Like, there are several I can go down, and like I could justify it because it was a hell of a match. But again, not knowing the grading structure, makes it so fucking impossible. To double back on the triple threat ladder match the triple threat TLC match, Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys versus the Dudleys back in 2001, only received 4.75 stars.
And this was the very first TLC match ever.
Ever.
And still didn't hit 5. From what they started.
Correct. And that had like a lot of fucking highlight moments. Like, the whole fucking thing is a highlight.
Yeah.
Let's see why. Final rating 4.75. While this match is undeniably epic and Dave liked it a lot, he felt like it was missing a certain element. All the elements there were that of a perfect match were present but not executed. The minute during the closing is a big takeaway. Dave thinks that if WWE took the elements from the Undertaker versus Jeff Raw 2002 ladder match finish and applied it to here, then he would have been screaming at the rooftop at how awesome this match was. You can't deny that it's one of the best matches of all time, but it lacks a degree of emotional sophistication and additional elements that were present but not captured. One thing's for sure, this is an iconic match in the past 20 plus years.
And so this is a reporter talking to Meltzer, reporting on
this is Meltzer's only this is Meltzer typing. I replaced I with he, so I didn't sound like I was saying it. This is Meltzer's word.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, it's okay. I was confused. It's like, okay, then it's like you're lost in translation, possibly.
No,
at that point, it's somebody else.
So it definitely says like, while this match is undeniably epic, I liked it a lot. I felt like it was missing certain elements, but when I started reading, I was like, oh, that's kind of sound like I'm saying it, so I'll just third person. So he even say that it's one of the most iconic matches ever of the past 20 years, and again, not 5-star. Like, that's what kind of like bugs the ever living shit out of me is again, there is no criteria given. There is no justification. There is him saying key phrases like "there's elements missing." Cool. What fucking elements?
I mean, he did point out one with the Taker and Jeff.
Yeah,
whatever
the emotional
match
side
that
of it.
was. I don't remember that match, but
It was for the WWF title or WWE title. Jeff Hardy just won it, or won it from Taker. It was his first match in singles, or first big match in singles.
Okay.
I remember. I don't remember the entire outcome. I just remember it ended with, I believe, Taker shaking Jeff's hand because it was his American Badass persona, not the Undertaker.
okay.
This is his post 9/11, so he's in the American Badass phase. But again, like, cool. He briefly touched on the emotional aspect of it, but he doesn't, like, he just says the 1 minute at the end. The last like 5 minutes was so fucking emotional. You had Spears from the top ladder going to Jeff hanging. You had Bubba Ray just get fucking knocked out. You had ladders being thrown, broken, tables being stacked, 2-3 high, being crashed on, spots being missed, and just add so many dynamics to it. But again, there's not, like, it's there. I can get behind the justification to a degree, but you can't finish it up by saying this is one of the most iconic matches of all time, but still not give it a 5-star match.
So one thing, and I'm still stuck on this whole Jeff Hardy and Taker match. That match was in 2013. That's a 13-year difference.
2002.
Okay, then this is. I mean, I'm looking at the list now, and this is ridiculous. A lot of New Japan on his list. There's a ton of New Japan.
So side note, if this sounds like it's really weird for you listening, I accidentally paused the recording. I don't know what happened. My bad. Sorry. We'll just wrap this up. I don't know how long it's been, so I apologize if it seems like this is all. But shit happens when you leave a hotkey and you forget what it is. I blame Rogel. But yeah, that's my opinions on Meltzer. Enhance. More. It's clear how it works. So,
if any of them got recorded.
Yeah. Hopefully. We'll see. I think it was when I was looking at Jeff Hardy's match. Shit. Anyways.
I had some of the most iconic takes and opinions on this, and you didn't record any of them. So anything that was not recorded, you're missed out on all my epic takes on everything.
He had a lot of good jokes. He made a lot of promises. He was gonna give away like a few $1,000s, and I fucking couldn't record. My bad, y'all. Anyways, go check out the previous episode where Rogel discusses his favorite heroes and heroines and villains of horror movies. And then stay tuned for the next episode where he talks about his Google search of top 25 horror movies that he 100% unequivocally agrees with and believes that is the best fucking list out there. He himself could have not done better than that Google search provided. So, with that said, I'm out here. I'll let Rogel do the finish.
Those are all lies.
I'll let Rogel do the finishing up about everything. So here's Rogel.
The 2 episodes that I did, it's more or less just not my favorites, but male, female, definitely one I enjoyed doing. And then the 25 fucking list that I found that you'll just go listen to it and you'll see what I mean. Yeah. Whatever. I don't know. Check it out. Let us know what you think. If you don't like it, come on the show and talk about it. I'm more than willing to talk about anything. It doesn't have to be this month. I'll talk about it next month, a few months down, whatever. If you just find it a year from now, I'll talk about it. I'll let you. I'll give you his address where you can find it. Talk about it. I want to know what people think about it. And if you try and throw some of them in there that shouldn't be there, I'm going to call you some names probably. They'll be nice-ish.
Yeah, don't pull that Dave Meltzer shit where you're like, well, it should have ended this way. Even though that movie came out years after the movie you're saying should have ended, like, just
Very, very true.
if that's in the recording.
We'll see. Oh, so then, bye, Mitch.